Hi, this is Tiffany, and this is The Balanced Life, Redefine Success, Redefine Fail. And today I'm going to be talking about getting motivated to meet needs. I've been doing a series of videos talking about our needs and some of our emotional needs, our need for esteem. Sorry. But today I want to talk about how do we get ourselves motivated, because we might know that we need to do something, but getting ourselves from that knowledge to that action. It's like, I know I need to exercise, but I'm not particularly motivated to jump on my exercise bike that is literally about 4 feet from me in this room. The way I motivate myself to do it is I allow myself to play a little game only when I'm on that bike. And problem was then I got to playing the game too long and sitting on the bike and didn't get other stuff done. But anyway, I digress. So getting you motivated and helping you to meet your needs. So when we're in a tough situation, the first step to getting out is to find a new way to meet those needs, because the current thing isn't working or we wouldn't have a need. So do you understand that? That's the first thing, is if what you were doing was going to work in this current season, in these current circumstances, you would not have a need. Remember, tough times and stress expose weakness. So it might be a good plan for during positive times, like having an SUV is fine when gas was $1.40 a gallon, back up until the beginning of 2021. Now that gas is over $5 a gallon, that SUV is not so awesome. I had to have it for my big family, and the only reason I keep it now is it's paid for. A really great book to help with this is called Who Moved My Cheese? It's really super thin. I think I used to have it on cassette. I bought it at a garage sale on cassette, and I want to say it was only one cassette, maybe two. It's really super short. You can read it in an afternoon. But it talks about not complaining, but accepting the reality of your situation and taking action. The problem is that we have politicians who push the emotion button because they want to get votes. We have newscasters and talking heads and experts who want to push the emotion button for ratings or for views. You know, what's that called? Clickbait. They want to try to say something that'll get you to go ahead and look at it just so that they get basically the points for their views. But it won't benefit you. You will not get any benefit from either. So start today to look at what failed that you could control. See, right now, if you're having a financial struggle, it is not because of job loss or increase in fuel prices or whatever you're saying. It's because you did not have sufficient savings to go against this issue. It's a lack of savings that is your issue if you're having financial problems right now. Now, you can say, well, no, that's what it is. If you had saved up enough money, you could have weathered the storm without having the issue. And if you have plenty of money and you're just concerned about certain other things, well, that's not then the crisis issue. There's something else that's happening. You need to look at what your crisis issue is and get motivated to fix that. So start to look at something small. I want to give you an analogy that most all of us can understand, is a coin jar that sits on your dresser. Let's say you've got this little coin jar like this sitting there, and you toss your coins in there every night. And once it's full, you dump it into a coffee can. I can tell you that that will build up a ton of money, because what we did is back in like 2017 or 18, when my husband was preparing to go to school to get his advanced practice RN certificate. Here I had his master's. He was getting a secondary certificate. I started putting coins in a coffee can. And whenever it would get almost full, I would dump them at the bank and I would get the cash and then put the cash in the bottom of the can and just keep refilling the coffee can. You may recall that in 2020, 2020, where they had the coin shortage, you weren't allowed to spend money, so you weren't getting coins. So I basically didn't get any coins for about 6 months. But even with that, I had over $300, which is what we used to do a graduation party dinner thing, because we couldn't do a graduation party. That was in December of 2020. So there wasn't even a graduation for him. So we went to a restaurant that was open as a family and went to a really fancy restaurant, and we had $300, and that's all from the coins. So you can understand that analogy with that. It's the same thing in life. You start looking for something small that can be fixed. So it could be something as small as, you will not believe this, but 15 minutes reading in the morning and 15 minutes reading in the evening. So one book might be about motivation or about dealing with hurts. Like a book that I really loved was written by Joyce Meyer. It's called Healing the Soul of a Woman. I read it like 4 years ago almost now. And it was so intense that I could literally only read 3 or 4 pages at a time sometimes, because I would have to put it down and really process what she was saying. But it helped me let go of a lot of hurts and unforgiveness and frustrations and things that were building up inside of me. So finding a book like that, and then having a book on like leadership or business development or sales or something in your professional field, that 30 minutes a day builds up over time. I forget how many books you can read in a year if you read just 30 minutes a day, but it's something ridiculous, like a book every month or 2 months or 3 months or something. The next thing, cutting negativity out of your life. And I don't mean just being negative, but like massive amounts of sarcasm, comedians who are more about digging at people than being funny. I watch something called Dry Bar Comedy a lot. There's one comedian, if you can go on Dry Bar Comedy, and there's a guy, he talks about an ostrich and a BMW, and he talks about, he talks about riding an ostrich and a BMW. He's hysterical. And he doesn't really put anybody down except for like putting himself down a couple times. And it's not even like the constant stuff that sometimes you get. So cutting the negativity where the comedian just sits there and trashes other people all the time, or trashes our country, or trashes political groups. And then the last thing is, it starts with believing that you can. And you can, because getting motivated to meet your needs is about believing that it can happen and taking those steps. If I told you that if you were to, I'm trying to think, there's a really great book that I'll talk about in another video called The Compound Effect. But for right now, if I promised you that if you found your way to my house, that I would give you $100,000 as long as you were here in the next 72 hours, which I'm not. But if I were promising that, or let's say if I promised you that if you could get to the main library in Toledo, Ohio, there's like some big library downtown. If you could get to that place, or if you could get to the Mud Hens baseball stadium in downtown Toledo, you would go online and you'd get $100,000 if you got there by whatever time. It doesn't matter where you are, you would find a way to get there if you trusted me as a person of my word. If you really believed that you could accomplish what you're trying to do, you would absolutely do it if it's something actually meaningful. I genuinely believe that by reading 30 minutes a day, I am going to improve as a human being, and I'm going to learn things that are going to benefit me and my family. So I am willing to do those. That's what getting motivated will do. If you really believed that your health would completely turn around if you exercised for 20 minutes a day, you would do it because you want to feel better. So it's a matter of getting motivated by really believing that it can happen. And we're so used to listening to other people push our emotion button that we almost feel like we need to have some kind of emotional, like the hamster trying to push to get the pellet. We need some kind of emotional pellet before we're willing to do something. And we need to move beyond that and realize that our flesh, our emotions, our feelings, our wants don't determine our future. Our dreams, our goals, and our actions do. Our habits do. And so if our habits are not in line with our actual goals, you're not going to get what you want, and you're going to eventually have regret. So let's not have regret. Let's have esteem, celebration. And I would love for you to share the things that you do to motivate yourself. I'll be talking about some of the things I do in a future video. If you want to make sure and see those things, please make sure that you have subscribed and hit the bell so that you're notified when the next video comes up. Thank you so much for your time today, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.